For millions of Ferrari fans across the world, the 2020 season is a heartbreak and the one to forget. From finishing second in the championship for the last 3 years and being in the race for the driver's title in 2 of them, to constantly battling for positions with the backmarker teams like Williams, Alfa Romeo and Haas, the story of Ferrari's 2020 season is nothing short of a disaster. With just 2 podium finishes so far and currently lying 6th in the championship, this year has been tough for Ferrari, for the team, for the drivers and for the fans, as it is heading to end the season without a win since 2016 and score the lowest number of podiums since 2014. It is currently in line to record its worst finish in almost 4 decades. While the fight for the 3rd position is intensifying between Renault, McLaren and Racing Point, can Ferrari step up and salvage the lost season of 2020? Ferrari hasn't finished outside the top 5 since 1980. The worst season in their history, in which they finished 10th ahead of last place Alfa Romeo with just 6 points, and they haven't been outside the top 4 since 1981. And since the turn of the millennium, Ferrari finished outside the top 3 only twice, in 2009 and 2014. Ferrari has always been fighting for race wins and championships. Of course, they don't always win, but they are mostly in the fight, whether it's Mercedes, Red Bull, McLaren or Williams in the past. They are the common rival for all other top teams who win championships. As you may know, the decline of Ferrari started in 2019, parallel with FIA's technical directive issued on power units ahead of the United States Grand Prix. Till then, Ferrari were flying, taking all the 6 pole positions since the summer break and winning 3 of them, and then the pace disappeared like magic. Although they denied it in the past, it is now clear that the directives did have an impact on their performance, and there is something not right with their power unit. The 2020 season actually started well for Ferrari, with Leclerc finishing 2nd, 3rd and 4th in the first 5 races. He was 3rd in the championship, and despite just a 6th and 2 10th place finishes from Vettel, the team was still 3rd. In the 6 races that followed up to Portimao, Leclerc retired twice and took just 3-point finishes, while Vettel scored only twice. Together, they just added 25 points to the Constructor Championships total. This bad phase resulted in the rivals overtaking them. Ferrari's problem is that it has only one driver scoring points, as Sebastian Vettel has struggled all season long, and he is heading for a personal worst finish across his 13 full seasons in Formula 1. Clearly, there is a disconnect between the team and Sebastian Vettel. Hopefully, they could sort this out for the remaining races and part ways on a high. In contrast, Leclerc has been consistent, with his sights set on what would be a respectable 4th in the drivers' standings. Leclerc appears to be in a 3-way battle for the position, as he trails Renault's Daniel Ricciardo by 10 points and is 3 ahead of Racing Point's Sergio Perez. The SF1000 has been a nightmare to drive for both Charles and Sebastian, lacking pace and draggy on most tracks. However, Ferrari has been constantly bringing upgrades to the car and made big improvements in the recent races, with Leclerc finishing in the top 5 in the past 2 races at Portimao and Imola. Even though the Scuderia is still off the pace of Mercedes and Red Bull, the team is heading in the right direction after a series of small upgrades. So in the next 4 races, they need to close a 30-point gap to 5th and 4th and 31 to claim 3rd. They need to gain 8 points on an average on its rivals in the next 4 races, and it's going to be tight. Whatever happens, it is important to look at the big picture. With the rules relatively fixed for next year, if the improvements can get them back to where they were at the beginning of the year, it is something to build on. One positive for Ferrari is the reliability of the car. Apart from Spain and Italy, the car has been pretty consistent and there were no huge mechanical problems. So if the team can work together and strengthen their upgrades, strategy calls, pit stops and driver relationships, they can indeed pull this off. The Scuderia is having a horrible season for their standards and budget, massively struggling and languishing in the midfield, but has the ability to bounce back from a disappointing year relatively quickly and achieve a quick turnaround. But when can we realistically expect a challenge to Mercedes? Team principal Mattia Binotto has been honest about this and ruled out a championship for next season. He, however, is confident they can consistently fight for podiums in 2021. Ferrari planned a brand new power unit for next season. They will also have a brand new driver in Carlos Sainz, and his performances are promising this year. It may not be possible to beat Mercedes, but beating Red Bull is a realistic consideration, and they will be back competing for podiums, wins and titles soon enough. Ferrari is also hopeful of launching a successful challenge from the 2022 season onwards when the new regulations come into play. The last decade was all about Red Bull and Mercedes, with 3 and 7 championships respectively. But the prancing horses won the lion's share in the next decade. So if you are a Ferrari fan or in general like to see closer racing at the front, don't be disappointed, as Ferrari has the ability to strike back. And if you enjoyed the content, please like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.